it takes time to become a really, really good coach and trainer. I've not mastered it yet, and I won't master it until the day I retire, because we're all learning, we're all evolving, and we're not going to progress until we want to progress at the end of the day as well. Having the ability to be open-minded to improve every single day is what's going to help us become the best version, the best coach, or the best personal trainer. Yes, team, welcome back to another episode of the Fitzness Academy podcast, Series 2, Episode 9, has been long delayed, team. I think it's just come out to 4 weeks now. Absolutely no excuses whatsoever. I think I have a lot of passion for doing podcasts and podcasters in general. But obviously uni's taken over, but uni's done now. Uni's done, complete focus back on to what I really, really love to do. And obviously you can see obviously a lot more content's been going out recently. Follow the Instagram. If you don't, how dare you? Obviously joking, of course. Just pop down into the comment section below, or the bio, sorry, and check it out, check the Instagram out, and obviously let us know what you think. See if there's any particular information you want to see, please do let us know. We'll try our best to get that done for you. So anyway, Series 2, Episode 9. What are we going to do, James? Get straight to the point, for goodness sake. Obviously you've seen last episode, Shania's podcast. How good was that? Absolutely unbelievable. Such an absolute unbelievable person, such a young age, doing so well. Fantastic to see. And obviously the podcast before that was how to plan your training. So obviously what the next episode is obviously going to be, this one is another episode of what makes a good coach, what makes a good trainer. Obviously we had episode or volume number 1 of that one just after Nico's podcast, which was unbelievable with Josh and Adam, and that went really, really, really well. I thought it was really good to get a couple of coaches' ideas on things. And obviously, we're going to continue to do that. A couple of people I've got in mind. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll send them a message soon to see if they're up for that. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about. Obviously, aside from the fact that obviously I've been busy with exams, obviously not really a huge podcast, I do get a lot of no's, so obviously that's one thing to consider. So obviously the frequency, I can't be doing it every sort of with someone every single week, but I'll do my best to obviously chat to you and talk rubbish from my own mouth rather than you guys not having any content whatsoever. So hopefully if you can learn one or two things, that's fantastic. So on to this episode. So obviously again, what makes a good coach and trainer from my perspective? This probably should have been the first episode, to be honest with you, or the first volume of that episode of this topic, because obviously how can then we progress my ideas and thoughts, and then progress that from whatever other trainers think. So possibly this probably should have been the first volume, but that's fine. I really loved that episode, so we'll think, well, I thought might as well do it now. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to break this down from two sides, obviously being a strength and conditioning coach and a personal trainer, or having been both. I think it's good to look at it from those two sides. So I'm going to be looking at those two sides from the outset. So I'm going to begin points of view from that sense. And then I'm also going to break that down into three things, really. So I'm going to look at sort of advertising, client sign up or client attraction, what you can do what I think you should do to gain people's attraction, and things acting around clients or players. And then another thing is obviously dealing with clients when you're actually with them in the gym, when you're dealing with them outside, and that sort of thing. Obviously, perfectly important and really important to note that obviously I only have 5 years experience in the industry. Obviously one of those years being in an elite environment, which I'm currently in at the moment, and obviously 3 years of that as an almost amateur strength and conditioning coach. Obviously not amateur, sorry, probably like a lower level, in gyms and things like that. And obviously a year below that, just obviously getting my accreditations within the industry. So yeah, we're going to get cracking. So firstly, what makes a good coach and trainer for me, if I define it, would probably be a well-rounded approach, someone who is open-minded, well-rounded, and has obviously an open mind, like I previously said, to 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 listening to new people. I've absolutely butchered that. So obviously to clear that up. So yeah, open-minded and well-rounded. And you're going to think, James, that's probably the same thing. Not quite. Being open-minded is extremely important. And the fact that you need to be able to listen to new people, you need to listen to feedback, need to listen to what people have to say, positive and negative. Positive is fantastic, but if something's not going right for someone or someone spotted something, you need to be able to take that on board and try and improve yourself. That's what's really important to me. I always ask for feedback, good or bad. And I say the same thing when I do a client testimonial or something. I say, look, be honest. If you think you can write something bad on there or something positive for me or something negative which can help me improve, please do so. So that's obviously what that is. Another thing is the well-rounded approach. Can you be? You don't. I see it so many times where someone's like, "No, it's business versus friendship or business versus pleasure, whatever you want to call it." There's a big difference between those things, obviously, and being able to have a well-rounded approach and understanding that you're actually dealing with a human being, not just a client, is extremely important, or a player. Again, so obviously looking at it from two perspectives. So having that well-rounded approach and that discipline at certain times and that open-mindedness at certain times to have a laugh and a joke is what's really important. Aside from that, obviously the work-life balance, which obviously we've spoken about before and we'll continue to speak about with our guests. So what we're going to start with is obviously pre-sign up or pre-approach to things. When you're about to meet a client, when you're about to meet a player, when you're about to meet a group of players, when you're about to come into a club. Again, this is only speaking about 1 year in an elite environment as a S&C coach / sports scientist, and then another year, 3/4 years of personal training in the industry with clients. So obviously that client personal trainer is a little bit more experienced in that sense, but I'll give my ideas on both just in case. So for me personally, from a PT point of view, you need to obviously have your clear business model where exactly your sign up process. I have a message which I obviously send with options to clients. When you send obviously over what the options are for them, whether they want online or they want in person, that all comes after you find out about what that person's like. For me, I absolutely love a chat. So for me, I'm always going to chat to that person first, get to know what I'm about. I would rather spend 20 minutes talking to someone about what they're like and tell them, look, probably not the person for you. Yes, it's business, and then James just lost another customer. I want to be emotionally invested in that person. So if I'm not emotionally invested in that person, I'm probably not going to be able to think clearly and try and help them as much as someone who I think, has a clear goal and things like that. Someone who just says, "Oh, I just want to do it to do it." It's just not going to work out. So in that sense, can we then make things simpler? So can we, so if someone messages you or you message out someone, you have a call. I'm not a big fan of calling people and things like that, having a consultation to a certain extent. I'm very much a pass on person, or the business is a pass on thing where a lot of people will sort of pass, on the name to other people, or they'll see it and they'll give it a go. So that's where obviously it comes from me. Not saying obviously I'm big and it happens naturally, but I would rather it be that way than I'd rather spend time on the clients I have and the clients coming on than pushing it down people's throats and obviously at the end of the day getting on their nerves. So yeah, so have that clear sort of path, get to know them as a person. Don't be robotic. Not being robotic is so important. Being like, no, what do you want to achieve in 10 years time? That is not being a good coach or trainer. You need to understand, like I mentioned before, that that person is a human being. They might be having a great day, might be having a bad day. So obviously, if you're telling them it's like a robot, they're not going to want to talk to you, and they're going to ignore you, going to you do all those bits. So being able to do that is really, really important. Aside from that, again, once you feel that you can then send over the options to them, is having that clear process. Don't beat around the bush. Tell them why something is like that, and then stick to that. You may have like a family and friends option. That's perfectly fine. But, stick to your guns. If they say, oh, it's a bit too much, well, then I'm afraid that's not for you. You need to stick with your price because you know how much time and effort you're going to put into it. And that's simple. Don't stick by that and don't be like, oh, no, wait, I'll take £10 off. It doesn't make a difference to them at the end of the day because they're going to be you want to invest in your coach and trainer. Well, then you got to pay what they're asking for, and I'm not saying charge 250 quid. That's probably a bit too much. But you got to obviously pay for what you're asking for at the end of the day. And for obviously someone who's looking for a coach or trainer, that's obviously, fingers crossed, it's the Fitzness Academy. And obviously I'm open to coaching, obviously, as everyone knows who follows the Instagram. But open to coach, not coaching. I don't need to be coaching anyone. So I don't need to be coached by someone. Understand that, the person that you're choosing is going to have different options to someone else. People who have PT with is going to have different options. Explore your options and then obviously find out which one. I'm a big believer in everyone's right for a single person in the sense that we're talking to obviously today. And find out, ask questions. That's what we're here for. If you get a better idea for someone else, go for them. And if you don't like it after a month, try something new. Or try someone new. Sorry, that came out a bit wrong. That, but obviously, you know what I meant. So yeah, from an elite point of view, if you're meeting players, from obviously any sports, for the first time, obviously, for me, regardless of what age group, you got to earn that respect first. If you don't earn respect first and you let them walk over you, it's not gonna end up very well for you. And I've not got experience in that. I assert my respect and ask for your respect straight away. Not physically. I don't say, "Oh, respect me." The way that I operate in, whether it be a gym or out on the pitch, you focus for the hour to 30 minutes that you're with me. Then after that, you can have your chat, you can do everything. I may come across as a bit of a dick in that 30 minutes, but afterwards, I'll have a laugh and a joke around with you. When you're having a drink or whatever, you just finish a session and we're walking back to go and meet the parents or whatever, or walk back to the car or whatever, or even having a meal after training, whatever it may be. But yeah, need to make sure they respect you at the start, because and the way that I like to do it is, again, when you're focusing on your work, especially at an academy level where decisions are made, obviously historically harsh decisions, but decisions which obviously going to be made by the club and how you act and operate. At the end of the day, I'm trying my best to not only help you and you or them athletically, but as a person as well. If they're going to be a person who's going to try and push over any member of staff, they're going to notice that and they're just going to bin you off. They're not going to, even you can be a brilliant player, but if you don't respect the staff, they'll bin you off. And it's unfortunate. That's how the way it works. Nowadays, it's all about, and I'm gonna quote this person because it's, whatever's been happened or whatever is irrelevant, because it's really good advice. He kind of sitting in a canteen and this bloke walks in there. I don't know why I'm saying it. Craig Bellamy walks in and he says, lads, all the scholars inside the room and goes, lads, you're in a brilliant position to be here right now, but remember, it's really important to be a good bloke, not just a good player, because at the end of the day, people remember you not just as a good player, but they remember you for being both rather than just one by itself. So that's really, really important at the end of the day. And obviously that's what stuck by me, because obviously you can apply that to everything. If you're a good coach, if you're really emotionally invested in a person, and then that's going to help you, isn't it? If this is a tough one, if you aren't sort of, if you're just known as a good coach, but you're a terrible human, you don't answer calls or anything, people aren't going to bother speaking to you. People aren't going to bother. They're just going to either finish the month off or feel like they're just being forced to do something. So that's really important. Not only that, but obviously understanding the situations that happen in life, bad days, good days, like I always mention. So, okay, a little bit of a detour there. So, right, cool. On to the next bit. So, sorry, just finishing off what I said there. Yeah, making sure you earn your respect first and foremost straight away. But obviously, again, that balance between making sure you insert your respect or make sure they respect you first, but understanding that obviously you've got a good balance and you can have a chat with them if they feel they need to come to you to ask some advice or tell you about something that we need to know, whether it's that they're not feeling great or they possibly picking up a niggle, whatever. They need to know that you're open to talk to them. So that's really important. Right, move on to the next one, right? Intra program, intra season, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so everything's signed up, you've met the players, whatever you want to call it, and you've asserted your respect already within both categories or area. What makes a good coach in that sense? Again, being well-rounded, being open. This probably falls into that category a little bit more, being open, and then being able to stick with your plan and don't adjust it too much. Obviously, it contradicts what I just said there, but again, I'll explain in a second. So, starting off, again, be well-rounded. Be the person that's stern at the start. Stern in when you're focusing on your work, but when you're not doing your work or you got a bit of a break, have a laugh and a chat. Laugh when you need to laugh and be serious when you need to be serious. That's what's so important about being a good coach, being able to be well-rounded in the areas that you're working in, whether it's both of the client or both of the player. It's going to go a long way into helping you as a coach and helping build that player buy-in. At the end of the day, player buy-in or player client buy-in is going to help towards the longevity of the quality of coaching that you're going to have. If a player doesn't buy into your theories or your vision, then they're not going to buy into their future athletic development. It's that simple. So that's the simplest thing, that being well-rounded. Being open-minded, like I said, this probably falls into this category a little bit more just because of the fact that once you've probably been seen by the client, the player, other coaching staff, other trainers, that's where you can start to receive a little bit more feedback based on what you've done previously. For example, every single time I do a session and I'm being watched, a session, 30-minute athletic development session at the start, for example, on the pitch, and I'm being watched by another sports scientist or a football coach, I always ask for feedback. Guys, do you have any feedback for me? Sometimes it's bits around timing, maybe it's probably a bit too long, a bit too short, and other times it's possibly right. What was your theme there? Could your theme be a bit better? Can your technical element be a little bit more specific to what we're doing in that session? Other things like that. So obviously examples. But at the end of the day, I know that once I receive that piece of information, I'm never going to make that same, I like to call it a mistake, because no one's perfect. You're not, if you were a brilliant sports scientist and didn't make any mistakes straight away, you probably, it's probably something a bit weird and you probably gather your ego a bit too much. But yeah, I've become a good sports scientist from learning from feedback from coaches and other sports scientists and other strength and conditioning coaches and other personal trainers, from feedback based on what they think, from my sessions, from my attitude. My attitude is always brilliant towards everything. I always try to have a positive attitude. Even when something's gone wrong, it's like, yes, it was a bit shit, but I could have done this and this, and then it turns into a positive attitude. So obviously, I'll probably call it like a shit approach, and then resulting in a positive attitude. That's probably the best way of saying it. So yeah, having open-mindedness, being able to bounce off people as well. Don't wait for them to give you feedback. Ask for feedback, because at the end of the day, if they're having to tell you things, they're probably going to get a bad idea thinking that you're too cocky and you think it was brilliant. Because at the end of the day, if you're in an internship or if you're in your first year at the job, for example, if you walk straight into a job, obviously not a lot of some jobs don't require any experience, just walk into the job. You need to show that you're willing to learn, even when you've learned the most. A lot of people find themselves in a situation where they come out uni, they think they're, at uni, I know all this, but it's rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. It's like you are basically leaving university with training wheels on, because all the technical and knowledge that you've learned is just you buying the bike in the shop and putting the training wheels on. You need to start to ride the bike, and then you can start taking the training wheels off, and then you start to get better, and then as you get better, you upgrade to a bigger bike, and then you upgrade to a more better quality bike. That's how it works. You just need to keep progressing onwards and keep building that experience base. At the end of the day, I know personally I learn more from my experience rather than the knowledge that I've learned at university. The knowledge I've learned at university is brilliant, but at the end of the day, you need to practically apply that knowledge. If not, it's just going to be sat there and at most it's probably just going to leave your head and you're going to forget about it. So that's really important. Actually, I probably can't say this from a elite point of view, because I just said it really. Yeah, it's the same thing, asking coaches and other trainers. Yeah, so from that perspective, that's really important. So yeah, I've covered that. Yeah, being well-rounded, being open-minded. Along that well-rounded approach, you need to obviously show and be consistent with everything that you do. I know for a fact that, and I've learned this very recently, that the simplest of things is what's going to give people the best perspective. So if you are turning up late to sessions, you're not prepared for sessions, people are going to pick up on that, and they're not going to focus on the quality of your session or the quality of your work. They're going to focus on the little things. Oh, he's late. Look at him. He smells bad. Obviously, that's a bit of an extreme example. And those aren't examples that I am. I always try to be on time, especially obviously at my internship. I'm always there at least an hour early to try and obviously make sure, I'm there. Traffic happens, you can't avoid it when it happens, but the simplest of things, try and make sure, obviously your coach wants to have a chat with you, coach have a chat with you. So that's really important. Being in an environment as well, if in an elite environment where injuries or something like that could cost clubs hundreds of thousands, millions of pounds, you need to also be able to be aware that safety is number one priority as well. This is something which I see a lot of, and obviously I'm going to use both examples at the same time here, being a PT and being a strength conditioning coach. If you aren't paying attention, or you're trying to chat to someone mid-set, you're not focusing, you're not spotting them, people can get hurt, and you can try and change their technique mid-set, whatever it may be, but at the end of the day, safety is number one. If you are letting people get away with shit that they should be doing, bouncing balls in the gym, running about the gym, if you're working with young age groups, people get hurt, then they come to you. It might not be your fault, but you're obviously the one responsible for those people. So make sure that it all comes down to being well-rounded again, but be disciplined. I know for a fact that when I step into the gym with a younger age group that I work with, that I am 110% focused on what they're doing in the gym. They try to chat to me about something else that happens outside. I don't care about it. We can chat about it after. Focus on what you're doing in the gym. And obviously teaching people at the end of the day. A strength conditioning coach I used to work with fairly recently told me that he believes, and I've adopted that approach, that it's almost good if a client leaves after 6 months, because it means that you've taught them something, or you've taught them the basics to carry on with their lives. It's good. Obviously business is great, and the financial value of a business is fantastic. But at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you are in a position where, you are teaching people things. If you're not teaching people things and you focus on the business side of it, then people are going to become reliant on you. So when you leave, or you need to leave, or you stop doing things, you move away, they're going to be stuck. So making sure that's important as well. So that's really, really important from that sense. Same thing happens with elite athletes as well. If they go away for off season for 6 weeks, you need to be able to know that when they do a back squat, they're going to do a back squat the way you've taught them, not the way that they're just going to do it. That's that simple, really. So from that set intro sort of intro way there, or circa, whatever you want to call it, moving on to almost afterwards, or dealing with when you're leaving, when you are transitioning through. I think that's really important as well. In a personal training industry, or again business transition, business wise, clients are going to come, clients are going to go. That's what the nature of things are. People are going to get ill, people are going to get pregnant. People, it sounds weird, but it happens. People are going to leave for various reasons. They're going to go away to study, whatever, start a new job somewhere else. But you need to obviously take that into consideration. Again, comes down to being open-minded. You're not going to start treating someone really badly just because they're leaving. You need to give them the best opportunity to leave in the best way possible, because if they want to come back to you, even if it's on an online basis, they know who to come to straight away. It's going to be you, if you're a good coach / trainer. So that's really important as well. From the get-go, 110%. Make sure that's you're switched on with that. So be open-minded. I always make sure that if someone says that they want to leave, right, cool, completely understand. You ask for your feedback, and then you say, right, cool, can I help you in this way, this way, this way? If they say no, that's perfectly fine. But that I don't want to say exhausted all options, but you've made sure that they're catered for, and that they know 110% that they want to leave. And again, most likely it's probably not down to the way that you do things. It's just probably the situation that they're in, and things like that. Okay, so don't take it to heart as well. That's one thing that's really important. Don't take it to heart. There's always going to be people out there that's going to come in. Obviously, if it's a close mate or something, you might feel a little bit of sentimental attachment, but at the end of the day, you're not going to force someone to stay, are you? So make sure you keep cracking on, obviously, with your job. I know, obviously, make sure that person's well looked after. Keep asking how they are, and that's what's really important at the end of the day. So after that one, making sure they're all right from a football sense, not football sense, from a professional sense, working with players, again, any sports. Don't know why I said football. It could definitely be if a player is moving on from an academy setting, moving places, they're moving away, they're joining another academy, they're being released, they're doing all sorts, we're doing whatever. They're moving age group, they're moving up an age group, which is obviously brilliant to see. Being able to understand that, you're always there for them is really important. When a time where things can be really difficult, or they can be down about things, they need to know that you're there all the time for them. So, mate, whenever you need a chat, I'm always here for you. You ever need anything, just even if it's just a chat, by all means, just come to me. I'm always here. It sounds really weird in the moment, and then the person might be thinking, all right, yeah, mate, cheers, yeah. When the time actually comes to have a chat and they need a chat, they'll more than likely come to you. And aside from any business things now, I'm a huge believer in, again, being a good person just as much as being a good coach or trainer. Because again, in life, the way things are, life is difficult. People just need a chat about the silliest things, or what you may deem as silly. It may be really important to them. So again, being open-minded about the fact that clients or players are going to be upset sometimes. They're going to be great sometimes. Find out why they're great. Find out why they're upset. That's so important, and it's so underestimated as well. So make sure that's one thing you look at. From that sense, then I think, as apart from that, being able to continually make sure they're all right is really important. I was actually talking about this to someone in the barber shop the other day. Quite bizarre, isn't it? It takes 2 seconds to ask if someone's all right. You may come across like an absolute weirdo. Why the hell is this guy messaging me? Why the hell is this guy asking if I'm all right all the time? 99% of the time, they're going to be perfectly fine. But that 0.01% where they may not be all right is the time where that message shines across to that person and understands what a good person you are before you're a good coach or trainer. That's so important in today's day, not just in today's day and age, but for future ages to come. If someone's not feeling great and they just need to let out, you just sit there and they can express their feelings to you. That's all their struggles expressed, and it might help them, progress and move on, and hopefully don't feel those way anymore. That way anymore. So being able to do that is extremely important as well. That's one thing I am really, really passionate about as well. So yeah, that's pretty much the crux of it from my opinion, in all three formats. So yeah, just to summarize, be a good person, not just a good personal trainer or a coach. Be open-minded to feedback, positive and negative, and be well-rounded. So be strict when time needs to be strict and you need to do the work, and have a good laugh when you've got the time to, and be a good person. Again, linking back to being a good person, not just a good coach or strength and conditioning coach or good personal trainer. So again, yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up today's episode. It may sound like I've dragged on a bit from some bits, or I may have missed some bits out, which you think I may have missed out on. If you think I've missed out on something, or you've got some opinions yourself about something that I've said, please do comment down below. Obviously, it helps a lot with progressing with the podcast, and hopefully, answering some more questions, getting the community involved. That's really, really good to see. So yeah, that's be a good coach. Be a good coach, for goodness sake. Now, obviously, if I'm going to finish on one thing, it's definitely be to understand as well that it takes time to become a really, really good coach and trainer / trainer. I've not mastered it yet, and I won't master it until the day I retire, because we're all learning, we're all evolving, and we're not going to progress until we want to progress at the end of the day as well. Having the ability to be open-minded to improve every single day is what's going to help us become the best version, or the best coach, or the best personal trainer. So thanks very much, guys, for listening. Head into the description, guys. Follow the Instagram. Again, it's just to obviously build the community, like the post. If you want to see something in particular with a particular guest, with a particular type of guest, a particular topic, please do let me know, and I'll try my best to get them on the podcast. I'll try and post about it on the various social medias. Obviously, now we've got the TikTok, which is amazing. So please do follow that one as well. And again, anything at all, please do send us a DM, send us an email, and we'll do your best to get back to you. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Please, again, I'm going to try my absolute best to try and get these on Spotify ASAP. But if you don't like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, leave your comments below, share it to your family and friends if you think this has helped you, or if you think that this could help someone else. And I will see you guys next week, because we are back, baby. See you guys next week. Have a great day. Take care, team.